Allotropy is a phenomena in which an element exists in more than one crystalline forms. Now, carbon is one of the elements that shows the phenomena of the allotropy. And there are three very commonly known allotropic forms of carbon. One is the graphite, second one is diamond, and third are the fullerenes. Graphite has layered structure, diamond has giant network structure, and fullerenes mostly have cage-like structure. Now the graphite and diamond both have empirical formula C, and their molar mass is considered as 12 grams per mole. They are inorganic in nature because they are insoluble in water as well as they are insoluble in the non-polar organic solvents. You know that organic compounds dissolve in the organic solvents, but graphite and diamond both are insoluble in organic solvents. That's why they are considered as inorganic in nature. And similarly, graphite and diamond are inorganic because they cannot be hydrogenated or halogenated like the organic compounds. You know that organic compounds like unsaturated hydrocarbons, alkenes and alkynes, they can be halogenated, they can be hydrogenated, they show addition reactions. But graphite and diamond, they do not show any addition reaction like the organic compounds. And there is no concept of aromaticity in the graphite and diamond. So because of these three reasons, their insolubility in organic solvents, non-aromaticity, and they do not show hydrogenation and halogenation reaction, they are considered as the inorganic. And in graphite and diamond, all bonds are carbon, single bond carbon. So all single bonds between the carbon atoms are present. I have given a detailed video about the comparison of the structure and properties of graphite and diamond. The link of that video is given in the description. You can get further information from that video about the graphite and diamond. Now the third allotropic form of carbon, they are the fullerenes. The fullerenes have cage-like structure, and the fullerenes start from carbon number 20 and they move up to carbon number 86. But they have even number of carbon atoms in them like 40, 60, 70, 74 and 86. But out of all fullerenes, the most stable and most abundant in nature, they are C60, means having 60 carbon atoms, and their molar mass will be 720 grams per mole. And this C60 fullerene, they are called as the Buckminsterfullerenes. Now these Buckminsterfullerenes are considered as organic. Why? Because they dissolve in organic solvents like toluene, benzene, and they also can be hydrogenated and halogenated just like the organic compounds. They also show aromaticity at some level. So that's why, because of these three characters that match with the organic compounds, they are considered as organic in nature. Now in this lecture, we are going to talk about the most stable Buckminsterfullerene that has the 60 carbon atoms. It has short name as Buckyball. The Buckyball having 60 carbon, that was discovered in 1985 by Robert Curl, Harold Carotto and Richard Smalley, and they were awarded with the Nobel Prize in 1996, and they named this newly discovered allotropic form of carbon after the name of the Richard Buckminster Fuller, who designed so many domes having same shape as that of the Buckminsterfullerene. And he also died in 1983, almost just a year before the discovery of the C60 Buckyball. So that's why they named Buckyballs after the name of this great architect and writer Richard Buckminsterfullerene. Now, after history, let us discuss some important points about the structure of the most common buckyball C60. It consists of pentagons, which are 12 in number, and hexagonal rings, which are 20 in number. And keep in mind that no two pentagons touch each other in their structure. The diameter of the buckyball is 7 angstrom or 0.7 nanometer. The carbon-carbon single bonds having bond length 1.45 angstrom. There are 30 carbon-carbon double bonds having bond length 1.38 angstrom. The overall structure of the buckyballs is face-centered cubic. All 60 carbons are equivalent. They are symmetrical, so zero dimensional. And keep in mind that buckyballs are the largest, roundest and most symmetrical molecules discovered so far. Pentagons are more strained than hexagons. So, if the temperature is increased, the C60 buckyball can break at the pentagonal sides. Because pentagonal rings, they are more strained, they are more unstable as compared to the hexagons. And these all carbon-carbon double bonds, they are present in the hexagonal rings. Pentagonal rings avoid to have carbon-carbon double bond. Now let us discuss some important physical properties of the buckyball. They are semiconductors, but when they are doped with the alkali metals, they become superconductors. They are largest object to exhibit wave-particle duality. No doubt that other larger particles also show wave-particle duality, but their de Broglie's wavelength is practically incalculatable. But buckyballs are those largest objects that have calculatable de Broglie's wavelength. They are black solid, but when they are dissolved in some non-polar organic solvent like benzene, they show violet solution, and when this violet solution is evaporated, then the brown residue is obtained. They are soft like graphite in the solid state, but when you will compress them and their volume will be reduced to 70% of their original volume, then they will become very hard, just like diamond. So in the normal solid state, they are soft like graphite, but when they are highly compressed, they become hard, just like the diamond. These are some unique physical properties of the buckyballs. And keep in mind that in buckyballs, each carbon atom is covalently bonded to 3 other carbon atoms. Now let us finally look into the chemical properties and applications of the buckyballs. Buckyballs can be hydrogenated as they have carbon-carbon double bonds, so they can be hydrogenated just like alkenes. They also show the halogenation reaction just like the unsaturated hydrocarbons. They show oxidation reaction, and they also show the free radical reactions. And these are those chemical properties of the buckyball that match with the chemical properties of the organic compounds. That's why the buckyballs are organic in nature. And what are their applications? They are used as semiconductors, but I have already mentioned that when they are doped with the alkali metals, they behave like the superconductors. They are used in the preparation of lubricants. They are used as catalyst. They are used in the drug delivery systems and for the diagnostic and therapeutic purposes. And the buckyball derivative, they are potential inhibitors of the HIV in the humans. So these are the chemical properties and applications of the buckyballs.